and welcome to another episode of Culture Connection Conversations, where we bring you relatable stories of diversity.
Hi, I'm Filomena, based in the Netherlands.
And I'm Claudia from Luxembourg.
I'm a certified intercultural trainer working with leaders and SME entrepreneurs.
And I'm a professional coach working with entrepreneurs, corporate leaders, as well as their teams in tech and beyond.
You call us when, as a leader or entrepreneur, your teams are struggling, results are going down, or there's friction.
Let's get started.
So today, Claudia, we are featuring about a monologue. Take it away.
Yes, thank you, Philomene. So this happened quite a while ago. My dad is of Italian origin, and my uncle was visiting. And we actually drove all the way up to the northern part of our itty bitty country in order to visit a horse that used to be mine when I was in high school. So at this point, I was at university. I couldn't have taken care of it. So we found it a really good home up in the north. And it was there with other horses and so on. It was also the first time I was visiting in a long time, incidentally. So my uncle visited from Italy and doesn't speak one single word of Luxembourgish, mind you.
There's a challenge.
Yes, yes. As we were there, we were, looking at the horses. I struck up a conversation with the gentleman owner, the dad of the family. And so we were kind of sidetracked. And we went looking for my uncle after a while because he had gone missing. And we found him. And he was being shown around this gorgeous property with gardens and fields and a gorgeous house by the lady of the house. And she just kept talking and talking and talking to him in Luxembourgish.
Oh, really?
And all he did was like,
Not
oh,
pretending to understand.
Yes, I mean, some of it was obvious because, she was very animatedly talking about the garden and things like that. And this went on for quite a while. In the end, he told us that this conversation, this unilateral conversation, went on for the good part of 45 minutes.
Oh, it's a really long time, Claudia.
Really
Far too long in my eyes.
he got the whole tour and probably all of the family history and whatever things that he doesn't even realize, but she just kept talking and talking and talking.
And she never double checked if he understood.
No. And so hence the title we is selected for today, called the monologue. She just went into the monologue. So if we think about culture as this comes, it's, she assumed if you're in Luxembourg, you understand Luxembourgish, because she really had no idea that she wasn't understood. It didn't even occur to her to check. And he, on the other hand, I think, had these ideas of politeness, that it might be impolite, to ask her to talk to him in a different language or to stop talking or whatever. And so he just, was there and listened as well as he could. And I'm sure that he got quite a gist of many things. But, on the other hand, we see that they had different approaches to this particular context. And that's my story for today.
Oh, thank you, Claudia. Well, first of all, it's hilarious, I think. I mean, I have a vivid image of what was going on, honestly.
Oh,
But
yeah.
when I take out two elements, Claudia, it's assumption and it's politeness. So when I take the first one, assumption, it's something like, for example, in the Netherlands, a luxury we cannot afford. because hardly anyone speaks Dutch. From what I hear, it's a complicated language to learn. So we start speaking English or German right away.
Mhm.
So this is a whole different universe, because what I hear a lot is that when someone is being blamed for not speaking Dutch when they've been living here for a number of years, they tend to say, well, you don't give me a chance, do you? Because you all start speaking English. So we assume someone does not speak our language. So it's the other way around.
Mm-hmm.
And when I take the second element, politeness, I think in general, we would just interrupt right from the start, even if she's lady of the manor, because we want to make clear we will not know what she's talking about. We won't have a clue. So there's a whole different universe, I think, Claudia.
Yeah, I think that first of all, a little bit more context is this was, 20 years ago. That just happened. So, Luxembourg today and Luxembourg 20 years ago is different, right? Nowadays, also most conversations you might start in by literally checking what language does the other person speak.
Yeah.
And, even if you pick up the phone to a service person, like a support person or something like that, you ask, do you speak Luxembourgish? Do you speak English? Do you speak French? Do you speak German? And before you even engage. So the language thing might also have been flavored by that she might not have been there when I introduced my uncle, but she heard me speaking Luxembourgish. So
Yeah.
that also might have contributed that here's this group, and this person was a member of this group. This lady speaks Luxembourgish, so everybody in that group speaks Luxembourgish, which we are about as international in my family and my circle as we can, speaking all kinds of different languages. But the assumption, I think, might be justified for her. Also, I think that what factored into this was, people that were essentially glorified farmers in the north of the country. So it's much more an insular kind of Luxembourgish thing. They're not in the hustle and bustle of Luxembourg City, where every table at every bistro that you go to has people of various nations sitting around it. Right. So, I think that also colors like our habitual kind of cultural environment, the specific context that's happening, and so on. But I think that also, how much feedback does she need in a conversation? Right? Because she never expected my uncle in this case, to say anything. The and and O was enough. She did not really have this bi-directional conversation. And what do you think? And how is your garden? Do you have a garden? Do you keep horses? Whatever the context may be, she was just not interested. She
Yes,
was
yeah.
in her own thing. And so what does that mean culturally?
I think assumption is part of culture. On the other hand, there's also your personality, right? Like you say, you might be from Sweden or Germany or whatever country, but sometimes it's also your personality. Some people are people-oriented and others are task-oriented. So this lady might have been focused on her way of life, loving it, being busy, dealing with everyday elements. And then this group of visitor comes in and she does not open up to persons, but she sticks to her own daily routine and being task oriented. Whereas your uncle would have met a people oriented person. They probably would have started asking questions. Who are you? Where you're from? What do you like? Well, things like that. So I think there's intercultural, but intercultural also becomes interpersonal.
Yes.
And politeness is also the second element, not only a country thing, but also, like you already stated, a family thing. Because in my family, we say things up front, right? But you might just hurt someone else when you meet someone, a stranger from a different family, and you give the message right away. It might just hurt someone unintentionally.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, I think that, personal context in my family is more to be like hyper polite.
yeah.
That seems to be the going rate, and I may be a little bit the black sheep of the whole thing, because sometimes I tend to be a little bit more direct, and that also comes with being a coach, mind you. But also, even this not needing feedback might be a family culture thing,
Yeah.
because maybe this lady's husband and her kids, and this is hypothetical, right? Long tuned out, because maybe she's a talker, but they're so sick and tired of listening that
I mean,
she has
they are
gotten
bored,
used.
Claudia.
They have so gotten used to this background noise that they are not engaging anymore, which just makes her not even asking for any kind of reinforcement or engagement from the other person. So their experiences and family culture can very well also fit in. But in any case, it was a very hilarious thing, and very interesting from a cultural perspective. Do you
It
have
would be
something
very,
else?
yeah, and I do. It would be interesting, I think, observing her in a different environment. So you take her to Italy, to an environment she does not know anyone, and you turn things around. What would happen then? It would be pretty fascinating, right? Because as long as we're in our own safe comfort zone, we feel free to act as we are used to, right? But when we're out of our comfort zone, it's a whole new universe. I think it might be a great topic for one of our next conversations, Claudia.
Yeah, this habitual body, and I think maybe wouldn't even need to throw her all the way to Italy, but just moving her to Luxembourg City,
Yeah, yeah.
just outside of her manor, outside of her stomping ground, as we say, just to see, how she would react. Definitely very interesting.
Maybe
Yeah.
we should conclude, Claudia, that assumption is a dangerous thing. Every day we get up and start walking around, let's not assume. And when it comes to politeness, I think it's a good thing, but every day trying to expand your comfort zone a bit, it's not such a bad thing. Might be a good conclusion.
Good conclusion. I would probably just add that maybe become a little bit more aware of your own communication style.
Absolutely. Agree.
Okay, fantastic.
Agree.
Everybody, thank you so much for listening. This was fun. If you have any similar experience you would like to share, please let us know in the comments, or get in touch with us on LinkedIn or any other place you can find us. Also, we will be back with plenty more. Show us some love, subscribe to the channel, and give us some likes and comments, just to drive up engagement. We would love that. Thank you so much, Philomene. This was a good one.
Thank you,
Have a
Claudia.
great week, and see you soon.
See you
Bye-bye.
soon. Bye.
Good job.